All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 8th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody out there thank you to all my subscribers one more time. Thank you to, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Everybody that listens and follows my content, everybody that subscribes and shares my content. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted. Everybody, I love that. Thank you for the kind comments. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and we've got a few announcements this morning. Let's start off with this one right here. Okay, Monday, all right, that's today's Friday. Okay, so we're going to go over the weekend. And then Monday, early Monday, okay, 9:25 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, Doug Campbell from Right Way Options is going to have an open house. He's going to, it's going to be free. In order to get in, all you got to do is take your smartphone and scan this QR code. It will have a link that will appear inside your camera as you scan this QR code. You click that link, it'll open up in a browser, and then you fill out the registration page, and we will email you credentials to get into the room. Again, it's free education. Take advantage of it. He's very good with options. He's a very good trader. I recommend it for everybody, all right? So 9:25 Monday morning, all right? Get registered. Again, it's free to attend, all right? It's free education. He's not going to steer you wrong. Let me just say, all you got to do is just get registered. That's it. It's free, but you've got to register in order to get into the room, all right? So there you go. All right, so that's Right Way Options. Open house on Monday. Good morning, Rally. Good morning, Alan. All right, let's start off with, we did that. Let's start off with the 5+5, all right, or the Bulls and Bears. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 632.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY, FNGU, and QQQ all made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow and IWM made outside days, closing under bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I will be looking for this morning, all right, my favorite trade, right? My favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Inside a 2-hour uptrend, that's inside a daily uptrend, that's inside a weekly uptrend, that's inside the monthly uptrend, okay? All over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? That's my favorite trade. That's the one I love to trade. I feel very confident when I trade that trade, okay? So I will be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend, all right? So I'll be looking for some type of a candle, nothing with a topping wick. In other words, it's got way more wick or shadow up top than body and tail. I'm not interested. I don't want any dojis. All right, I don't want any spinning tops because that tells me bulls and bears agree. I don't want any red candles because red candle in an uptrend just doesn't work for me. It's going in the wrong direction. The bears have more control than the bulls on that 10-minute candle, so I don't want that one either. All right, so again, I want a nice green candle. It's a particular type of candle. All right, but that's what I want. I don't want anything that says we're stalling. I don't want anything that says bears are in control. That's what I don't want. I don't want anything that says we're stalling, and I don't want anything that says bears have control right now. All right, so that's the plan for this morning. We'll get down into the chart just a few minutes, all right? Gold in a daily downtrend, but not moving down, all right? That's important. Made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap above the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend, made an inside day. It's lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. UNG in that bearish head and shoulders daily downtrend right now, okay? Made a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the falling 17. US dollar index. How come I don't have silver in there? Silver is in an uptrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap above the 17 EMA. US dollar index in an uptrend, all right? It's actually in a big bear flag. Okay, a move down, and it's consolidating underneath minor resistance right now on the dollar. Closed near 98.01, all right? So SPY max pain for today. That's for the SPY options that expire today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. Okay, so we got 630 is the max pain number. Put the call ratio of about 1.2 puts to each call. So there's neither a big max pain number out there. I mean, because we just visited 630. All right, and then we're back again. We got 1.25 puts. Not really a decent put squeeze there either. So I'm expecting a continuation in the same direction that we've been moving, okay? Which seems to be to the right, all right? A right with a slight shift to the north, okay? That's what it seems like. All right, down here we got bulls and bears. All of these are in bullish uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these are in bearish downtrends under the 17 EMA, okay? If they happen to have a star next to them, it means they're producing a launch pad. They're building out a launch pad to probably launch higher. Not guaranteeing that they're going to launch higher, but they're building out launch pads to launch higher, okay? Or they're building out grinder boxes that are grinding away at overhead supply so they can move higher, okay? All of those with the star, okay? Well, how I trade those, I like to look for a 5-minute uptrend or a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP and trade them to the upside, okay? Bears, okay? These are all the bearish ones. They have little stars too, okay? Now they have a platform, all right? In other words, they're producing a bear flag and they're building a platform over to the right, and I'm looking for another leg lower from those, okay? Again, it'll look something kind of like, see if I got it, if it looks something kind of like this, all right? And I'm looking for, that's the one move down, 2 consolidate. I'm looking for another move down like that, okay? So they're in this pattern right here, or this pattern right here, okay? Looking for that move lower, all right? That's what I got. Those are the bulls and bears, all right? And I have bulls and bears, all right? If you wanted to be delta neutral, all right? In other words, you got so much on the bullish side, so much on the bearish side, okay? Okay, I have bears in case you want to be delta neutral in your portfolio, all right? It's nice to have something that will make you money on the downside and holding a delta neutral portfolio. That way, when the market does pull back, you have something that works for you, as this is not working for you, okay? So when this has pullbacks, this has advances. When this has advances, this has kind of pullbacks, but this is still, these are all still in downtrends, so we like that. So these work out great to have some bulls and some bears in your portfolio at the same time. For me, it does, all right? I'm not saying that's for everybody, okay? To have some bulls and some bears in your portfolio at the same time, all right? That way you're delta neutral, okay? You get just as much on the bullish side as you do on the bearish side, okay? And I'm talking about capital, all right? So there's, let's go take a look at some charts, all right? First, we'll start out with SPY, okay? Here's the SPY. This is the game plan, okay, for today. Game plan for today. Drag this down just a little bit. All right, SPY pivot, 632.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. We have a red erases green entry down here below 630. Okay, below 630 is a red erases green entry. We have a green erases red entry up over 634.05. Green erases red up over 634.05. Okay, again, there's the pivot. All right, we left off with yesterday 10-minute uptrend, so I'm looking for a continuation of that 10-minute uptrend. That's a nice candle. I would like that candle. That's a nice candle. I would like that candle. See, this candle got more wick than body and tail. I wouldn't like that candle. Okay, that would not fit. All right, I don't want any spinning tops. I don't want any dojis. All right, so I'm looking for a continuation of my 10-minute uptrend. Okay, and this is all about sound is. Yeah, try have her F5 refresh. All right, and turn the speakers up. All right, so this is all about knowing your setup. And for me, I know my setup. All right, my setup's the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP where the 10 minutes peeling away. Okay, see this where it's not peeling away, this is flat. That's not my setup. Okay, see this is my setup, 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. See how price is peeling away from VWAP. All right, that's my setup. I know my setup. All right, and it's all about knowing your setup. Okay, when you trade and when you're going to day trade, you want to be familiar with your setup. You want to be able to identify your setup when it comes and when it manifests while it appears. Okay, you got to know when you're going to strike or when you're going to buy into your setup or sell into your setup. Okay, make sure you know your setup. This is something that you've done before on paper and it's worked several times, like let's just say more than 30 times. Okay, if it hasn't worked more than 30 times on you on paper, all right, then you need to increase that because you need more practice with it. Okay, this is something that works for you on paper at least 20-30 times before. Okay, you're familiar with your setup, you're intimate about your setup, you know it, you know what it looks like, you know what it's supposed to do. Okay, this is all about understanding your setup. I know my setup. This 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, that's my setup. Okay, 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. That's my setup, especially when price is peeling away from VWAP there. Now, Fridays are notorious for not moving anywhere but doing chop for the first 2-3 hours. Okay, just saying. So if we get up there at 634.05 and we just chop to the right, that's going to be normal. All right, and then Fridays are also notorious for pinning it to a number at the end of the day. So if you're expecting that big flush to the downside or that big boost to the upside, it doesn't normally happen on Fridays. Not saying it won't happen, I'm just saying it doesn't normally happen on Fridays, okay? Recently, okay? So we'll see what happens today. Okay, all right, you already know. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, breaking up and away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, breaking down and away from VWAP. The options that I like are 7 days till expiration and 14 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. I like them $3 to $15 out of the money. That's my preference, okay? You can trade whatever you want. I also like trading 0 DTEs as well, okay? But for a small account still beginning, I like these. They offer a little more time to get that correction necessary so you can have a profitable trade, all right? And they offer a little bit less risk. They don't offer the performance that an in-the-money 0 DTE option will have. That will move almost penny for penny, all right? So that is the SPY game plan this morning. Okay, so if we look at price action right here, we're going to look at it on the 2-hour. You can see you already got a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, here's the 2-hour. Notice the 3 EMA is up on top of the 8 EMA. So we're still got a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, so this is my trade. Okay, Daily, still in an uptrend. We have not made a lower low, okay? This would be the low to take out, still in a daily uptrend. Still in a weekly uptrend. See all the green dots? Still in a monthly uptrend, okay? So this could be my trade today, a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside the two, the daily, the weekly, the monthly. Okay, so there's SPY. That's just telling you, that's what that's what I like. That's what I'll be looking for. So we'll see what happens. There's SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look back to the daily chart. Again, we're going to pan way out so you can see the quad lines. Okay, here's SPY up here. Okay, that's bullish up in quadrant 4. All right, still in an uptrend. Okay, consolidating at the top of quadrant 4. Still bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ, consolidating up at the top of quadrant 4. Still bullish, still in an uptrend. They haven't made a lower low down here. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU, still bullish. All right, but they got a little tail down there below the 17. They made a lower low. They're in a downtrend, but they're not moving down. Okay, they're in a technical downtrend, but not moving down. Okay, so in a downtrend that's not moving down and still bullish up here in quadrant 4. Okay, again, they're doing the right stuff. All right, they're moving up, holding the higher ground. Okay, they've been planking now up here for about 30 days or more. Okay, that takes an incredible amount of strength to do that. This is still strong up there. Okay, let's take a look at IWM. Okay, IWM on the daily chart. Okay, still consolidating over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. That is a bullish behavior. Okay, consolidating over prior consolidation. Okay, that is a bullish behavior up there. Okay, price action is in a downtrend because they got a low here. They made a lower low. In order to negate the downtrend, they got to make a higher high. Okay, so they're still in a downtrend, but get this, they're not moving down. All right, so price action, I'm going to give it to them. Up here in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, and in a downtrend that's not working. All right, that's IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow, same deal. All right, it's got consolidation, okay, over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. That is a bullish outlook. That is a bullish behavior. Okay, right there. Price action is in a downtrend. Okay, here's a low. They made a lower low. See the low below the 17. That's a downtrend. Okay, technically in a downtrend, but get this, not moving down. Okay, so in a downtrend that's not working, and they're up here in quadrant 4 holding the plank. All right, okay, up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Notice they're holding the higher ground. Okay, price moves up, all right, and holds. Notice they dip and the bulls buy it right back up. Okay, so far. Things could change today or next week. We'll see, all right? But right now, bullish behavior, bullish and still. Okay, we're in uptrends. Okay, we're in an uptrend till we're not in an uptrend, all right? Right now, everything's bullish and in uptrends on the bigger time frames. All right, let's take a look at, let's go back to QQQ. All right, and let's look at the game plan for QQQ. Okay, QQQ's got a game plan as well. And then John will usually share his game plan here in the room with us. Thank you, John. All right, QQQ. Pivot, 569.05. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green. Underneath, 566.45. Green erases red. Over, 571.40. Okay. I like 7 days till expiration and 14 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. Same with SPY on the multiple of 5. That are $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Now, if a downtrend happens to manifest up here, okay, that breaks the rubber band candle, I will be highly interested in trading it to the downside, back down to the pivot, back down to the VWAP, okay? All right, I'm just saying that I don't have to wait for the red erases green to get bearish, all right? Same thing on the bottom side, okay? If I get a 10-minute uptrend that happens to break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle, all right, and I can see price moving back to VWAP or back to the pivot that happens to manifest down here long before the green erases red entry, I will be interested in trading it, okay? Again, back to the pivot, back to the green erases red entry, as long as it's got that 10-minute broken bullish rubber band candle on the 10-minute chart, okay? Just saying, I don't have to wait for this to occur for me to get bullish. If my 10-minute trend occurs or develops or happens to manifest down here, okay, or even down here, okay, and it breaks the rubber band candle, okay, I will be highly interested in trading it to the upside, okay, but it's got to be working. I got to see that 10-minute rubber band candle be broken, all right? So there's QQQ, and that goes for SBY, both of them, all right? Let's take a look at our technicals. T2122, still trapped under the downtrend line here. Tried to break out, and the bears shot us down. Still in the seller's chop zone all day yesterday. T2123. This is Friday's price, yesterday's price action. You see, we gapped up. The bears filled the gap, and then was selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. You got a couple of green candle balls right here. But all in all, price was moving down the whole day. Okay, we're underneath the 200 SMA, and we're making lows, and we're making lower lows. So we're in a 15-minute downtrend right now, just a 15-minute downtrend. Okay, so there's T2123 15-minute chart. Here's a 3-bar chart. Okay, here's a low. There's a higher low. Okay, there's an even higher low. There's a high. So we're still in a, there's a high, got a higher high. So we're still in an uptrend. We'll be in an uptrend till they take out this low below the 17, okay? This is T2123 3-bar chart. We're up over the 200 SMA, okay? This is the pullback that Wall Street bought. We're back up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay, right now it looks like we're kind of setting up a bearish head and shoulders pattern. Just saying what I see, what it's looking like. Hopefully the bulls can take care of business and negate this by decapitating the head. We'll see what happens, all right? That's T2123 3-bar chart, FNGU. Okay, look at the price action from the bigger perspective. Okay, it moves up and over to the right. A little sloppy here lately. All right, but we're still holding up here. That's planking still. Okay, that's a show of strength. Okay, so take that off. Again, consolidation. Okay, over consolidation. Okay, that is a bullish environment. That is a bullish outlook. That is a bullish behavior. Okay, so we're still bullish up there on FNGU. All right. Let's take a look, see if we got the scratch. How come my quad lines, the quad lines aren't going to be on here? Okay, so this is a 15-minute chart. All right, and you can see on the 15-minute chart, we've got a low, we made a higher low, we've got a high, we made a higher high. So we're in a 15-minute uptrend, and you can see they closed yesterday under VWAP, but over the 200 SMA. That is a good outlook for FNGU, all right? And let's take a peek at just a few sectors, and then we'll visit the economic package. All right, we'll start off with SMH. Okay, SMH on the daily chart, still bullish, up here in quadrant 4, still in an uptrend. XOK, okay, still bullish, quadrant 4, still in an uptrend. Okay, XLF, okay. Still bullish, consolidating over consolidation. I got to say we are showing an M pattern right now. All right, and we're in a downtrend that I got to say is working. All right, and we're in a downtrend. right now. Hopefully the bulls will show up on top of this minor support and rally price back up there. Okay, so that's XLF. IYT. IYT up here in the upper third, that's bullish, but in a downtrend that's not working. All right, so here's a low. We made a lower low, so that's a downtrend. But notice price is moving up by all of these higher lows through here. Okay, so there's IYT. Bullish and in a downtrend that's not working. Okay, so that's IYT. We'll visit the economic package. Okay, you can see here max pain for today, 630. Put to call ratio of about 1 1/4 puts for each call for the SPY options that expire today. Dollar. Okay, so we had a downtrend in the dollar, and recently we made a higher low and a higher high. So we now have an uptrend. Okay, we are consolidating underneath minor resistance. Okay, that would be major support that turned minor resistance. Okay, we tried to get up on top right here, and we failed. Okay, we went down here, made a lower low. Now we made a high, but then we made a higher low, and now we just made, yes, a higher high. So now we're in an uptrend right now. But we're really showing, from the bigger perspective, is a bear flag right there. Okay, unless, of course, they get on top of this, then we have no more bear flag. Okay. Price action closed yesterday right around 98 cents or $98, okay, for the US dollar index. Okay, earnings today, okay, not much here that's going to move the markets. Maybe some familiar names, but nothing here that's going to move the markets, okay? And on the earnings economic calendar, all we got is a rig count at 1 o'clock. So there's nothing really to obstruct price from moving in the direction that it wants to move. Right now, it just seems like it wants to move to the right. And that may be what it really wants to do is consolidate up there. So let's go take a look at SPY and see if there actually is a consolidation pattern building out. Okay, so we'll look at it on, let's take a look at it here on the 78. Okay, so we have price, okay, moves up, back, up, all right. If they're going to consolidate, it'd probably be the next move would be down here, but we need this to hold, okay, and then back up here. And since we want bullish consolidation, we want a half back and then to the upside, okay? But that may not happen. Just preparing you, okay? If we have a pullback again to this low, we may see a half back, okay? And then here's your M pattern, and then a leg lower. We'll see what happens, okay? So this would be the next move if they plan on consolidating all the way back to this 620 area. We'll see what happens, all right? For SPY for this morning, I'm going to put on the pre-market, and let's talk about trading it this morning. You can see we're getting a pullback, all right? Again, I'll be looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I want you to make a note. Yesterday, here is the pullback from yesterday. Please note, we made a higher high, or we failed to make a lower low or a significant lower low. See this? So we made a higher high. So in actuality, the bulls should be inspired to make a higher high. So we're looking for price to at least challenge this area sometime today, hopefully, or tomorrow. If they decide to move to the right, we'd like to see a challenge either late today or tomorrow sometime, okay? We made a higher high. The bulls should be a higher low, all right? Or we can say we failed to make a lower low, okay? So the bulls should be inspired to make that higher high today, okay? So we should get a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that develops today. We may consolidate, okay, for the first 2 or 3 hours. That's a possibility, all right? And we have to resign ourselves to recognize that, okay? All right, that's it for me for today. All right, you got the plan. Find and identify the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, that's your marching orders right there. Okay, wait for that to manifest, and then we trade that. All right, if we get 2 or 3 crosses over VWAP with the price action, okay, we have to recognize that we're in chop. All right, and we need to wait for it to finish chopping around and have a breakout. All right, thank you, everybody. I'll be back in 45 minutes, and we will open up the markets.